violence, and exclusion from development processes across our communities and all the Commonwealth countries. While progress has been made in policies and commitments, implementation gaps remain, so they don't implement. Too often, disabled girls are spoken about, but not given space to shape solutions. This dialogue is therefore a call to move from commitment to accountability of girls and women with disabilities. So let's welcome our speaker, Madame Sruti. She's also a doctor. You're most welcome, Dr. Sruti. We'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you so much. You're most welcome to the call.
Thank you, Gurrit. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And thank you so much, Kembo, for giving me this opportunity to share with our youth from the Commonwealth who are going to take forward the message of equity, the message of living with dignity, the message of inclusive policies, inclusive processes, inclusive governance in all aspects of life. I have been given a very interesting topic, which is very close to my heart. I need little permission to share my slide,
okay.
please.
Okay, let me, hang on. Give you permission. I'll make you co-host, then you should be able to do it. Okay, there you go.
Yes, as Dr. Shruti is preparing to share.
I'm ready. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. So we are going to talk about women and girls with disability and why this is so important that we talk about us ourselves. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about Gurrit. I'm talking about our chair, Sarah Kamau. I'm talking about everyone who has struggled, is still struggling to get a place in society. Now, a basic fact that I want to make you aware of is that, in every 5 women of the world, there is one woman who has a disability. So just imagine the huge population. But you know what is the difference? Whereas other women have a lot of space to operate, they have a lot of facilities, they are going to schools, getting employment, leading a decent life. These days we see many of our women in the political leadership. But in this context, where are we, the women with disabilities? Commonwealth Disabled People's Forum is unique. Among 29 executives that we have, there are only 11 men and the rest are all women, including the chair and the 2 vice chairs and the treasurer. So this is the philosophy that CDYF is trying to take across to all the Commonwealth countries, that when given opportunities, when given the right environment, women with disabilities or disabled women, they can reach the peak of their performance. Today's topic is about development. So I decided that rather than keep it confined to development, let us go on discussing in 2 perspectives, both the UNCRPD mandates and the SDG development, because these are the 2 global frameworks within which disability and development is operating.
Do you want to make it full screen so people can see it?
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, great.
So this is the global, what happened? Okay, let's start.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So let us come to the global framework, that is UNCRPD. Now UNCRPD Article 6 clearly states that individual countries, governments, they must ensure that their women are equal participants, whether it is in education or it is in employment, or when it comes to protection of women from violence and abuse. Article 7 talks about children with disability. This is a cross-cutting theme. So all the facilities, you see, Article 7, there is one very important. Again and again it is stated that the child's interest, the child's opinion, the child's choice should always be respected in whatever we are doing, whether we are trying to find them a suitable place of accommodation, or they are to go to a school or a college of their choice. It has always to be of their choice. So that is a very powerful thing when we apply it in the perspective of girl child with disability. And then we are also today going to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, because this is a measurable development framework. And in 2030, the entire world is going to count the data, the numbers, and then we will be able to know where does the disaggregated data on disability stands. And when you look at disability, where are we? The recent United Nations report on disability and development has made it very clear that we are far down in the development ladder. So why we are far down? Is it because we are not capable? No. It is because systems, processes, infrastructure, laws, governance, and most importantly, attitudes. Attitudes have not changed towards us. So how do we think leave no one behind principle of the United Nations will become successful? For it to become successful, it is necessary that all governments, they start including all women with disabilities, all girl children with disabilities in all activities that are being done for women and with children. See, here also I must give you the example of Commonwealth Disabled People's Forum. Why? Because we are the organization who is pushing forth in the Commonwealth the Disability Inclusion Action Plan. We have prepared an extended note from CDYF, and we are telling the governments, please look into this. If you don't start including women, girl child, persons with disability in your various activities, then leave no one behind will fail, and sustainable development goals cannot be achieved when a huge section of the population is left behind. So let us come to some of the important issues. Number first, education. Girls with disabilities are 3 times more likely to be illiterate. So I have given you some of the important things from the research. So I have found out that if we look at across the Commonwealth countries, because this presentation is from the Commonwealth perspective, if we look at it, then we find that even within the Commonwealth, there is a lot of variation. There is high dropout rate in South Asia and in Africa. Coming to barriers, would someone in the group like to tell me? Anyone who during their school and college have experienced barriers? One of the reasons why many of us are unable to go to school? Okay, let me tell you. The infrastructure of the school is not accessible. See, we are not one coat fits all group. We are all individuals with different kind of impairments. Each impairment requires a particular functional, each comes up with a functional challenge and requires a reasonable accommodation. Let's go for the hearing impaired. Now you on your screen, most of you are seeing, we have our interpreters. They are signing for whom? For the hearing impaired. If this kind of activity is not carried out in the school, if the teacher doesn't know how to sign, or if she doesn't come prepared or prepares the child the day before about what she is going to teach in the class, and the child is sitting at the back bench, will the child be interested? A day, 2 days, 3 days, then the child will drop out because nobody is interested to teach her, to talk to her, to communicate with her. So this is one example. Let us talk about a person with a lesser height. Now this person, what does he or she require? This woman requires furnitures of low height. A toilet of, where the commode, where the urinal, all these are in the low height. We don't provide that. How the student of lesser height stay in the classroom when he or she cannot use the toilet, the washroom? Then comes to books and material. The students who have visual impairment, they cannot see. They cannot read our print books. And even if we have a sign language interpreter interpreting for them, they cannot see. They cannot understand. So what is our way out? If we can have something in braille or if we can have something in audio, because they can listen. So all these create a lot of inaccessibility in the schools. Then of course comes the attitude. Even now, the attitude towards disability and disabled individuals hasn't changed much. If you look at cartoons, if you look at newspapers, if you look at films, advertisements, you will see either we are supervillains or we are superheroes. So attitude towards disability has to change for us to be accepted as equal partners in the society, or equal partners in the school process. So SDG 4 and 5, what is the impact? SDG 4 deals with education. SDG 5 is about gender. So when the UN report came out in 2002-5, it showed that most of the children with intellectual disability are come fully out of the school. To some extent, the visually impaired and the hearing impaired are there in the school. But intellectually challenged, children with learning disability, children with autism, and other such disabilities are out of the school. In India, we had an issue where the school, without finding out why the child was not responding to the teacher's questions, started beating her. Beating and telling that you're indisciplined. You're not listening to my instructions. And then it was discovered that the child was not indisciplined. The child had hearing impairment. The child could not listen. So these kind of attitudes, unless they change, SDG 4 cannot be achieved. Some enrollment may happen, There's a lot of focus now on let's get children with different disabilities to the school. So they run, they do campaigns, they bring us to the school, and then they dump us and they forget us. How will a girl child who has to manage her menstrual issues be in a school when there is no toilet, there is no clean toilet, the toilet floor is full with water and filth? Would she like to come to school? No, she will drop out. So these very subtle things have to be considered for SDG 4 to be achieved and SDG 5, which is gender, to be achieved. Now, I have given you one case study of South Africa where they have policies, but yet the inclusion gaps are huge. The inclusion gaps are, when we talk about South Africa, we say, yeah, higher level of development, this, that. No. When it comes to disability, the reports show that women with disabilities suffer as much violence as the women with disability, the disabled women from other countries. There is absolutely no strong mechanism. Suppose a woman wants justice, to access the police station, to file a case in the court. She has no support system. So in this environment, doesn't matter how strong a policy you have, but the gaps are too much. Let me come to health and reproductive rights. This is the crucial thing. For any girl, child, and women, access to information about health and reproductive rights is essential. We have to know how to manage the periods, that they come regularly, how, if not properly, cleanliness is attended to, can lead to infections, and sometimes these infections become life-threatening. We have to learn how to manage ourselves, we also need to understand, and it's not just about the girl child with disability, all children with disability, the good touch and the bad touch. So how do you teach it? You cannot just come with a board, a print, a book, and just show some pictures. You have to do it in alternative methods so that every child, whether with hearing impairment or with visual impairment or dyslexic or having autism or with intellectual disability, all are able to understand, all are able to share the information. Many governments across the world, they have a lot of facilities now in place for safe deliveries, for maternal care, for prenatal and postnatal care. A lot of things are there, but this information is not available to the last woman with disability in the last village. As a result, because of this limited access, we often find in our rural areas the disabled women going to local people, or sometimes, those who are not certified, those who do not know the right process. And we hear about maternal death, infant mortality, all this because the right processes were not adhered to. What are other challenges? We live in different terrains. Somebody lives on a mountain, somebody lives on a hill. Somebody has to cross a river to come out of their village. Somebody has to cross a jungle. Somebody has to walk through a desert. How does a disabled woman or a girl child travel in these situations unless accessible transport is available? So it is vital for all of us, men or women who are disabled, to, when we do our advocacy with the government, we must highlight Providing health and reproductive rights in paper, providing a lot of policies, having a lot of schemes is not enough. For a woman who is disabled to reach the hospital and access the services, you need to provide accessibility from the doorstep of the woman to the hospital main gate. One example I have put here is of Pakistan, where during a survey it was found that 65% of the disabled women stated that because of transport barriers, they are unable to regularly go to the health facilities, unable to meet the doctors, and unable to access. Yes, schemes are there, they said, but the schemes they are unable to access. Universal health coverage. This is something, country after country is going gaga that once SDG 3 is achieved, we will have achieved universal health coverage of all people. We are leaving no one behind. But do you know? Have they counted the number of disabled persons who have been covered? Do they have the disaggregated data? Even in very advanced countries. I'm talking about UK, I'm talking about Australia. In Australia, 35% of disabled women have clearly stated that they are not under any health coverage of the government. In many other countries, even in South Asian countries, the women with the disabled women are not part of the universal health coverage. Do you know the impact of it? I will tell you two case studies. Here in India, they did not have universal health coverage. So when the woman was in labor, she had to take the help of someone in the locality who was not certified or qualified. There were complications. Mother and child were transported to a bigger hospital. Bigger hospital said, unless you have the card, the government health card, I cannot provide any assistance. So they rushed the woman and the child to a private hospital. Private hospital said, first deposit the money. Only then doctor will come and see you. They had come from a far off place. Getting money was not easy. Finally, money arrived. But do you know what happened? Both the mother, the disabled mother, and the child, both of them died because of blood loss and infection. Is this what we want? This insensitivity. We talk about billion and trillion dollars being spent for health. But is this what we want? That people who need it, the disabled people have specific needs, and when they need it, what is with a universal health coverage card in the hospital? They could have attended the emergency and then the paper could have been made. So as young advocates, I want you to internalize it. I want you to understand that when you go out and do your advocacy, do it with empathy, do it with human sensitivity, and tell the officers, tell the media persons, only what is written in the law is not enough. We have to have human values, kindness, compassion, so that precious lives are not lost by our insensitivity. Let us come to leadership and political participation. In the Commonwealth, when we went to the CHOGM, 2022 and 2024, each time we did surveys. We took oral survey, verbal survey, and we did some data survey through questionnaires. So a lot of women from different countries across the continents of all the countries of Commonwealth participated. Women, we also had a few men giving their inputs. But what was very saddening was to know that many disabled women had no interest in leadership roles and in political participation because right from their childhood they have been trained to to be dominated, not to have a voice, not to have to open up, not to speak out. We also found what impacted leadership roles was they never got an opportunity to go to school and complete their education. Third, because they had a lot of responsibilities at home. They had to cook, they had to earn, they had to cook, they had to take care of children, that they never had an opportunity to understand their rights. So, what is required, and a few who went out to vote found the entire process inaccessible. I suffered. I suffered in India twice. Once I was humiliated by the poll officials who said, "Is your one vote so precious that you are making us redo all the furniture setting, wasting our time, making people wait outside? What is it that you will achieve with your one simple vote?" So, this shows that society looks at disabled people as people who have no leadership qualities, who should just be happy with what they are getting and not raise their voices in political domain. But that mood is changing. We have hundreds of youth, we have hundreds of people, those who are disabled, coming out, are highly aspirational, wanting to be there, wanting to be the change that they want to see. But what do they need? They need an accessible, positive environment. Inclusive decision making is one of the factors there. Both SDG 5.5 and SDG 16.7 talk about it. So in our advocacy strategies, what we need to enforce on is that if I'm in the school, I want to be part of the school governance. I am in the college, a decision is being taken about sports, and I play that sport, so my voice must be heard. So this is the kind of this is the attitude with which you need to move forward. Economic empowerment. We all know because we were unable to go to schools, we were unable to complete college. So it's but natural, the government tells us we have reservations in job for you. How do I access that reservation? I have to be educated to access the job. So it's very natural to know and understand that education is the foundation stone to economic empowerment. First, we need to strengthen our schools, our colleges, our vocational training centers. The people who are authorities there, sensitize them. They must understand about equality of opportunities. They have to make a basic understanding of equity. Only then, and accessibility, then we will complete our education and come for economic empowerment. You see, as per the global estimates, only 23% of disabled women are employed. Now, I will give you another very, so you are, okay, now we are saying, oh, 23% of us are employed. So I did a little survey in my home state. And what did I find? I found that, there is a basic living, you need this amount of money for basic living. And these women were earning, what they were earning was much, much less than that for the same job. If the disabled man was being paid 1,500, then the woman was being paid merely 500. And everybody was taking it in without questions. So the work that we are doing is underestimated. Our contribution, whether at home or in the office, underestimated. How many women who are educated and employed have a decision-making ability in the office? Do you know? You will find them in the lower tiers. Our survey showed, but when you start moving up there is nobody to carry your voice. You don't reach the positions where you can sit, take a decision, tell your opinion. So this is the ground reality of disabled women getting employed. So we need to understand about SDG 1 and SDG 8 because both of them impact poverty reduction. The UN report shows that poverty-stricken people who have a disability, rather than climbing up, are going down. Since COVID-19, the impact of loss of employment, loss of access to market, loss of people's purchasing power, and increase in the cost of maintaining persons with disability in the families, people in the family having to drop out of their jobs to care for the disabled family member, all this has only led to further deterioration and the poverty rates getting higher. And as per the Oxfam report, 20% of the poor people in the world now they have a disability. And disability is a vicious circle. Disability leads to poverty. Why? Because of disability, you could not go to school, you could not go to college, you could not learn a vocation. Also, you don't earn. You're not even self-employed because the bank is refusing your loans. Even if you got the loan, created some products, where is the market linkage? So, disability has led you to poverty. Now, when you are poor, where will you spend your money? You will spend it in food. You will spend it in medical care. Those will be your priorities. And then you will send it and spend on education. That is the grim reality. So naturally, when you are poor, you will not get nutritious food. You will not live in very hygienic conditions. There is not enough water for everybody in the family to clean up every day. All this will further lead, aggravate, and cause disability. So disability and poverty is a very vicious cycle. And what is scary is that even after this sustainable development goals coming in, billions and trillions of money being used for creating opportunities, increasing food production, the disabled remain poor, hungry, in poor health, illiterate, out of school, and have no decent living. I have brought this up because this is climate and humanitarian context. Because Commonwealth, there are many countries, there are many islands which are very, very vulnerable, under immediate threat of becoming extinct. Countries and islands might disappear over the next few years. Why? Because climate is changing, because of the pollution we have caused, because the high amount of heat that we are releasing to the environment, we are cause huge holes in the ozone layer which protects Earth, and weather has gone for a toss. So if there is flood, it is unimaginable. I have seen the fury of floods in my country. Within within 15 minutes, 1,500 villages were washed away with just one huge surge of water. We are seeing forest fires. We are seeing cyclones. We are seeing drought. While in one hand, there is huge rain, on the other, there is drought and food cannot be cultivated. In this situation, who is worst impacted? The worst impacted are the disabled women. The disabled population is badly impacted, but among them, the disabled woman is the most impacted. See, let us start with the early warning systems. None of the early warning systems as of yet have been able to reach the disabled. And when I say disabled, I mean all different kinds of impairments. They have not been able to reach, and as a result, people have not been able to access the information that a huge cyclone or a huge typhoon or a huge rainfall is just on the way. The wind speed is going to be very high. They do not get the information and are not able to and are not prepared. Okay, then comes rescue. When you're rescued from your home and taken to safe shelters, how accessible are these shelters? I have visited several countries, and even now, somehow accessible centers are equal to ramps. Ramps are not accessibility. You need batteries for your hearing aids. You need diapers if you're a woman with spinal cord injury. You need airbags. You need wheelchair accessibility to the toilet. You need privacy for the disabled woman there. Are we considering all these things? So till now, evacuation system, early rescue, and bringing people to the shelter remains a big question mark, has not been achieved for the disabled. And one major challenge that we are facing, especially the women, disabled women, is complete lack of privacy, is lack of sanitation facilities, is lack of enough waters. So, as per a doctor in Bangladesh, more than 50% of the disabled women in a shelter were finally found at the risk, not at the risk, they were found that they had infections, they had major problems, and they had to be hospitalized. What we need now, young advocates, when you go and talk about climate and humanitarian issues to the government, to the civil society, the one thing we have to tell them again and again is the answer is simple. Bring us to the board. Right when you are planning, when you start planning for climate justice, when you start planning for early warning system, when you start planning for rescue, rehabilitation, take our opinion, allow us to talk, allow us to express our viewpoints, and then your planning will be successful and we will be safe and secure. This is violence and protection needs. You see, no country, or for that matter, the world itself, cannot say that it is a country which has taken care of all its disabled. Why disabled? All of its people, everything in the country is free from violence. They have effective systems in place. That is not so. That is not so. In India, not in India, in Commonwealth, the survey and the study that we did among women who are disabled, they stated that 67% of them had been verbally abused for long stretches. Physical abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, emotional abuse, they happen at great frequency. Most of the time, they are unable to go and report it. When they report it, on most occasions, the cases are not registered. Now comes the biggest challenge. The family. The family says, don't do it. We will be publicly shamed. Don't go to the police. And when they do, they get no cooperation. But then that is the reason they do not go. But what can we do? We can always provide a lot of temporary shelters. Until a case is solved in the court, unless some justice is given out, these women need safety. These women need a place to stay. These women need care and protection. But unfortunately, if you look at any report, all the countries' national report, all the international reports, violence and abuse are prevalent. Justice and institutional inclusion is zero. Absolutely nothing is there. So as young advocates, we have to touch these points. What is a simple way of doing it? We have to talk. We have to go to the police station. We have to tell the police that we would like to sensitize you. Come on, I want to tell you how to listen to me. Come on, I have to tell you how to write for me. Come on, I have to let you know that I have rights too. And I want some, like all youth and women of my age, I also need to voice my opinions. I need you to understand my situation, and I need you to support me in all my activities. Judiciary, police, the doctors, all of these people have to be sensitized. Attitudinal changes are required. See, law and policy is very strong in country after country across the world. But with a law, I cannot achieve anything. I need a lot of protection mechanism, and that is lacking. How many lawyers are there to take forward my case? How many judges have taken up these cases and solved them? How many judgments are there on the internet that I can read and create awareness? How many law colleges, how many police training institutes have talked about the need of protection for women who are disabled? These are some country studies that I had been doing. And when I compared a couple of countries, I found that in India, for the disabled women, the largest challenges are in employment and violence gaps. India has a lot of laws, schemes now, and a lot of teacher training has been happening. So they are going to school. Many of them are completing school and college. But when it comes to employment, it's a sad scenario. The second one, women said, is violence. Violence is rampant in the society. And violence within the walls of the house is the most acute. Close family members also take advantage of the girl child who has a disability. But they have no support system. That's the reason they suffer silently. In UK, higher poverty. So whether you compare that with men or whether you compare that with women without disability, the disabled women are all mostly, they have been very poor. They have Kenya, the two major issues that came up, one is the rural dropouts, second is the early marriage. I will tell you an interesting thing which all of you can also do. In India, the law is very strong for child marriage and they will arrest you immediately. For 5 years, you are in the jail, right? And there's huge penalty. So what they are doing now, in the name of some rituals, they are taking the little girl into deep jungles or some barren places, both families getting together and getting them married. This little girl, she knew that her family was planning to do something like that. So she told her teacher in school, I may not be able to come from tomorrow because I might be married. Can you help me? I don't want to get married. So the teacher, with the help of the local activists, she informed the police and they all stayed in hiding. And right at the moment when the girl was being dragged, forcibly dragged to go to the marriage for the rituals, the police nabbed them and took them away. So it is not just about being being aware of the laws and the policies, but we also have to be very alert. We have to keep our eyes and ears open. What is happening in the community around me? How can I stop abuse that is just about to take place? Now, Australia, the country has said about high domestic violence rates. And in Bangladesh, most disabled women talked about climate vulnerability and school exclusion. So these are some specific challenges that disabled women in the Commonwealth countries experienced. Now I want you to ask me questions if you have questions. Number one, what I will do is I have a note which I will just now after the session send across to Kehembo and he will share with all of you. In that paper, I have lot more case studies and I have segregated them to challenges, case studies, examples, which you can refer to at any point of time. Thank you so much. Please let me know if there are questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti, our speaker, for the wonderful insights that you've shared about leadership, participation, education, health, climate change, economic empowerment, among others. We have really learned a lot, especially me as a youth with a disability. Thank you everyone for your time and participating. So I request if you're having any question to our speaker, Madam Shruti, you can raise up your hand or you write it in a chat. She'll be able to respond to your question. Mr. Richard Reza, if there is anything that you'll be in need of talking about, it's open, sir.
Well, thank you, Shruti, for a really very good presentation of some of the realities of being a disabled woman in the Commonwealth today. And I think there's plenty of material there for people who want to be campaigners to take up and actually start campaigns in their locality. But I was thinking a week on Monday is Commonwealth Day and it's Commonwealth Week. And it's probably just time for us to produce a poster that we can send to all our organizations around the world with some of those key facts on it as a call to action. Because I think, you know, many men will say, well, that's the women's issues. But the reason that we have this double oppression towards disabled women is men. It is men that create sexism. It is men that tolerate double standards when it comes to treating women differently to men. And as you so well put it, they dress it up as ritual and it's something that's just inherited. Well, lots of things are inherited for us as disabled people. For instance, most people used to think we shouldn't exist and they got rid of us. We don't accept that. So why should we accept these sorts of attitudes towards disabled women? So I think the men in our organization need to take up championing this cause and get off the fence. This is one that we all have to unite together on. And so do you think it would be a good idea to have this poster campaign? We have a week to get these ready and then send them out to all of our members for Commonwealth Week. That's my first question. The second one, and I don't want to come in again, is the week before last, we were in Fiji, one of those island countries, luckily not threatened because it's got lots of mountains, but some in the Pacific are threatened with extinction. But we managed to get, it wasn't in the treaty, that the NADI treaty that they made, but we did get through our activities this phrase added, which all the law ministers voted for. So I think this is really important when we're talking about the law, particularly the law on violence towards women, promote the full realization of all human rights and fundamental freedoms for all persons with disabilities without discrimination of any kind on the basis of disability. But clearly, it should also be without any discrimination on the basis of gender. So that also is something that we can build on. So I think we are in quite a positive place to start a big global campaign around Commonwealth Week on these issues. I'd be interested in your view on that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard Reza, for those wonderful updates and the question that you've asked Madam Surti. I think she will be able to respond to that question.
No. What we want is for all those present here to participate in the campaign.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti. Yeah, is there anybody else having a question to our speaker? You can raise up your hand or you write it in the chat. I think they don't have questions for now.
Hello, I had put something in the chat. My name is George. I'm based in Uganda. I thank you, Dr. Shoda, for detailed session. I was just wondering, what's your experience in handling climate, health, and disability? Because the intersection is not coming out clearly, but also of late we are having a challenge or an opportunity where we interact with people with disabilities, but also who are LGBTQI. So how is this interaction and what should we do? What's your experience from the discussion? Thank you.
Just a minute. You're talking about climate?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just tell you the major issue the major issue in including the issues of the disabled population in the humanitarian response and the climate justice system is because they never sat with us. They never heard us. How can somebody sitting in an office understand how a person who does not have two hands be rescued? Or how a person with visual impairment can be rescued? See, rescue is a very, very sensitive, very delicate situation, you know. If you are not held in the right places, then secondary disabling conditions might appear. And this has happened. So what we are trying to do now is we are all pushing our way. A lot of people, we have been able to push our way and tell the governments that, look, don't consider us as an afterthought. The calamity strikes, disaster has happened. Then somebody says, oh, there are 3 people who cannot see. There are 4 who cannot walk. What do we do? No. What you do is, when you start planning, in the planning stage, include us. So we have to do a lot of advocacy. We have to visit the government offices and the government departments and the organizations which work in this area. We have to go and give them representation. And we have to tell them, look, these are our needs. These are our challenges. These are the things that you must do, or more importantly, not do when rescuing us. Many of us cannot hear. So if you take a vehicle and put a loudspeaker and go on announcing, please leave your houses, go to a safe place, it's about to rain hugely, how will a hearing impaired person even understand? So you have to be sensitive each step. You have to use accessible formats everywhere. You may have to hang posters, banners, use audio mechanisms, use pictures, but multiple formats must be used for creating awareness. So it is our role, it is our need. We have the law with us. We have a UN convention. We have sustainable development goals with a tagline, leave no one behind. So in this kind of scenario, we have a lot of power. So first thing I want all of you to do is take a deep breath and feel powerful. We have laws and convention. Now let's go and we are big. WHO says we are 1.3 billion, 16% of the population. So let us march ahead and let us tell, look, you have to listen to our needs and do. Second thing is, after you have been rescued and you are brought to a relief center, the construction works, the repair goes on round the year. So and this happens at the local level. So at the local level, at our villages, we have to go and find out where are the safe stay arrangements during disaster. And we have to audit it and we have to raise our concern if it does not have accessibility features. Then comes rehabilitation and reconstruction. In rehabilitation center, if they have, suppose they start some kind of a farming, some cultivation program, we have to tell them, look, I cannot walk, so give me an equipment which is wheelchair friendly. Or look, when you are teaching and training us, use a sign language interpreter so that I can understand what you are teaching. So these demands have to come from us. Then change will happen. And finally, we have to reach the highest level of policy making and ensure that in every policy, in every plan, whether it's education, employment, sports, dance, music, theater, tourism, anything, religious activities, in everything, there must be inclusion. And what is ultimately inclusion? Everybody sits on the table, everybody is heard, and everybody is able to feel that they are part of the governance, they are part of this government. The government which they elected respects them and takes care of their needs. Am I clear?
Yes, yes, you are clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti. Yeah, disability inclusion at the forefront, whereby we are given space to participate, to engage, and have access to our needs. They have to follow the UNCRPD, Sustainable Development Goals, and Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights. Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti. Hope,
Yeah.
George, you have
Chair, can I ask one thing?
a response? Yes, Dr. Richard.
Yeah, if we do produce some posters which people can use for local campaigning, I'm not sure we've got everybody's emails. So perhaps everybody who'd like to receive those posters next week can put their email in the chat so that we can send them to you. So then you can, with other local disabled people, you could start a local campaign, get discussions going, and decide which of all the many issues that Dr. Shruti Mohatra raised you want to locally campaign on, because we are not about just sitting and having meetings in the Commonwealth Disabled People Forum and the Youth Forum. We're about activity to change the situation. So please put your email in the chat before we end. And perhaps we can leave it a minute or two for people to do that, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. And the captions, they will be shared on our website. The slides. Yeah, our youth officer, Ms. Kihembo, has already shared it. And the link to our website, it's in the chat. So you will find the slides on our website. Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. Is there anyone else who is having a question?
Ma'am, I have one question. Sorry,
Yes?
I have another question. First of all, hi everyone. My name is Beena. I'm from India and I'm from Jharkhand. Just I want to share one incident is happening now in Jharkhand, no? But like, ma'am, as in ma'am, no, it's what Parisya, the election is going on and mayor election in Jharkhand. So they have come for the votes and all, no? So when I ask, about the benefits of the disabled, what you will provide us? So I'm very surprised they have no idea what the benefit they will get. So before the election, some manifesto they are providing, but now when I check, there is no any disabled and any one point has mentioned there. So it's a very big surprise for me also. So it's a very big challenges too in a government side also. They have to, like in a society, they have to mention the disabled, like they have also the rights to vote and what is the benefit for the election and all. Thank you, ma'am. I'm audible to you, everyone.
Yes, you're audible enough. Thank you so much for sharing. About that issue in India of the election, we have our colleague, Secretary, Commonwealth Disabled Youth Forum. I think he's also on the call. Oh, he has left.
Ma'am, I raised the voice and just I mentioned all the things there. If you will not provide any benefits, because it's not so benefits, are rights. So if we will do like this, no, so we, in our no will be like supportive person will come out for like in the society, because no any like in manifesto no one sentence is there about the disabled, but like their rights for the vote and all.
Yes. So there, it's our responsibility, like you, person with disabilities, the youth and women from India, to raise your voices, to advocate for the disability
Yes.
right. That will be your responsibility, because if you don't, they will not hear your voice and they will not respond to your responsibilities or your needs. So it's now your turn or your time to take part and take action in raising your voices. During those elections, because we have a colleague, Cecil from there, and we also communicated about that thing during a meeting for the board, Commonwealth Disabled Persons Forum, and Dr. Richard, oh, sorry for calling him Richard, Mr. Richard Reza, told him the same thing, that it's our responsibility to raise our voices. Because there, even the political leaders, they will hear you. They'll give you a chance and they will respond to your needs. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Richard?
What did you want me to comment on?
Yeah,
To close
about
it.
that issue in India of elections.
Oh, okay.
I think
Let-
Dr. Shruti is better placed to talk about India than I am. I mean, we clearly have policy
No.
on elections, but she will be able to comment more.
You see, in the elections, now all political parties are talking about disability benefits. This is the first time it happened in the last elections. And it was not because of any government decision, but it was largely because of activists, parents of children with disability, experts, lawyers with disability. Everyone came forward and they said, we are big in number. So that is happening. What happened is it now the problem that you are telling me is a local issue. So perhaps that, which party, the people of which party came?
Ma'am, both BJP and Congress, another party also. It
No,
is a mayor.
Congress. No,
Mayor.
Congress is very well aware. Congress is very vociferously going ahead with lot of sops for those disabled in their constituents. Indian National Congress is doing, BJP promised a lot of things. BJD and CPIM have also done. So what you have to do now is go and get an official copy of their manifesto. Manifesto is the party mouthpiece which talks about what the party will do if they come to power. So collect that manifesto, and if you find they have not mentioned it, then immediately send a letter to the Election Commission. They are taking strict actions these days. Send it to the Chief Commissioner Disability, send it to the Department for Persons with Disabilities, the social, and send it to the Election Commission. Also, you can send it to the state head of those political parties. This is what you can do.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Done? All done?
Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti, for
Okay.
responding to the question.
Bye-bye. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye and thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.